everybody, we're back. This is Dolores, the pastor's daughter. We are back. We were doing a live reading of The Hitman and the Preacher, and we took a break in the last live to go eat breakfast. I made some bacon and eggs and grits for breakfast. I made it a couple hours ago, something like that. Yeah, a couple hours ago. And was just waiting for a break time to go eat, and then we are back now. Okay, so what do y'all think? If y'all was in the last one, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts, y'all? Just to kind of give you a bit of an update, we are reading The Hitman and the Preacher. That's the book that you see on the screen on the right-hand side. That's my father's book, you guys. Religious narcissist, who I accused of spiritual abuse. And I wrote a book about my upbringing and my experience with my father witnessing his spiritual abuse. And I wrote that 3 years ago in March, 3 years ago. And now his book is out in response to my book. We've been doing a live reading of it, and we're going to get back into it. So what our goal here is to just read the book, right? Because we want to just read it. We're not adding any commentary in right now. We're just reading it, just to kind of take it all in, and just kind of see what's in here. And then in subsequent lives, we are going to break it down line by line. And what I am coining as discernment trials, right? Because I want you guys to get really, really good at discernment. But also, you know what? Now is not the time. I'm going to hold that for another time. Anyways, as you come in, please share the video of this live reading of The Hitman and the Preacher. We are on chapter 7, you guys. We made it through chapter 6. I told y'all chapter 6 had me struggling a little bit. Okay. Because the way chapter 6 ended, y'all, I was like, okay. I actually feel like that meme. Y'all seen that meme going around? Y'all remember when Candy was doing the reunion show on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she was like, the lies. Like, I feel like that. I feel like that right now. Like, the lies. Oh my goodness. But we're gonna we're gonna break it down, y'all. But right now we just gotta read it. And so get your popcorn, get your cocktail, and let's get into it. Okay. Also, you guys, I am streaming on multiple channels right now. If you come in late, I guess you won't even really hear this if you come in late, but you can start the video over if you go and watch me over on YouTube. You can start the video at the beginning, whereas I know Facebook won't let you do that, and I'm not sure about some of the other platforms that I'm streaming on if you're able to go back, but and rewind a live broadcast. But go ahead and rewind it if you need to, and we're going to go ahead and continue this reading. So welcome back, you guys. We are doing a live reading of The Hitman and the Preacher by Harold R. Laster. This is chapter 7, Finding Light in the Darkness. Amidst the uncertainty and fear that shadowed our every move, a chance encounter at a gas station heralded a glimmer of hope in the darkness. As I stepped out of the vehicle, weary and watchful, 2 strangers approached, a pair of black men whose warm smiles belied the gravity of our situation. With the perceptiveness born of shared experience, they sensed the tension that hung heavy in the air. Their concern evident as they inquired about the turmoil that had brought us to this moment. As I shared our harrowing tale of pursuit and fear, they listened intently, their empathy a balm to our troubled souls. In a moment of shared understanding, they offered words of reassurance, their laughter cutting through the tension like a beacon of light. With unwavering confidence, they assured me that we possess the strength and resilience to overcome the adversaries that dogged our every step. Uh, excuse me, y'all. Their words resonated deep within me, stirring a newfound sense of determination and resolve. In their laughter, I found solace, a reminder that even in the darkest times, the possibility of hope and salvation existed. As we bid farewell, excuse me, as we bid farewell to our newfound allies and resumed our journey, our words echoed in their words echoed. Woo, I'm sorry, y'all. Let's start over. As we bid farewell to our newfound allies and resumed our journey, their words echoed in my mind, a guiding beacon of encouragement amidst the tumultuous sea of uncertainty. With renewed vigor, we pressed on, fortified by the unexpected kindness of strangers and the unshakable belief that we would find a way to break free from the shackles of fear that bound us. Amidst the flickering fluorescent lights of the gas station, their words of wisdom. Let me start over. I'm sorry, let me just take a second. Let me clear my throat. Yeah, no, I just ate. So my apologies. Okay. Amidst the flickering fluorescent lights of the gas station, their words of wisdom resonated like a divine revelation. With a gentle yet resolute tone, they offered reassurance, urging me to cast aside the shackles of fear and embrace the certainty of victory. Their message delivered with an otherworldly clarity echoed in the recesses of my mind, a beacon of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. To this very day, I hold fast to the belief that those two men were more than mere mortals. They were angels in disguise, sent to guide us through the tempest of uncertainty. Their words, a potent elixir for the soul, instilled within me the unwavering conviction that fear was the true adversary that must be vanquished before any battle could be waged. Armed with this newfound clarity, we continued our journey southward, the road stretching out before us like an uncharted path to salvation. With each pressing mile, the weight of our burdens grew lighter, replaced by a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Arriving in College Park, Georgia, we found sanctuary amidst the sprawling landscape of unfamiliar streets and unfamiliar faces. Yet, even as we sought solace in our newfound surroundings, the specter of danger loomed ever closer. In the quiet serenity of my wife's workplace, the tendrils of fear tightened their grip once more. A stranger, bearing the weight of ominous intent, sought us out with a persistence that sent shivers down our spines. In the face of this ominous threat, we knew that the time for action had come, with a steely resolve born of necessity. We resolved to take matters into our own hands, to protect ourselves and our loved ones from the encroaching darkness that threatened to engulf us. When they came looking for her at her workplace, my wife, a dedicated nurse providing care to patients across Georgia, received a chilling warning from her employer. With a sense of foreboding settling over us like a heavy shroud, it became abundantly clear that danger still lurked ominously in the periphery. Despite our relocation to Georgia, the threat remained palpable, a shadowy specter that refused to be dispelled. Realizing the gravity of our predicament, I resolved to take decisive action to safeguard our family against the looming threat. Setting into motion a plan born of necessity, we fortified our defenses, meticulously vetting our visitor, excuse me, meticulously vetting every visitor to our home in a bid to discern friend from foe. Each face that crossed our threshold was scrutinized with a newfound weariness. Every interaction fraught with the tension of impending danger. In the midst of this turmoil, we made the difficult decision to uproot our lives once more, seeking refuge in the sanctuary of South Carolina. With meticulous planning and unwavering determination, we prepared to embark on a journey fraught with uncertainty, yet infused with a glimmer of hope for a safer future. As the pieces of our plan fell into place, my wife made the courageous decision to enlist in the military, a path that promised both security and stability in the face of adversity. With her departure from Fort Jackson, excuse me, with her departure for from no, it's for okay, hold on, y'all. With her departure for Fort Jackson looming on the horizon, I found myself tasked with the daunting responsibility of caring for our 5 children in her absence. Left to navigate the challenges of single parenthood, I embraced the role with a fierce determination, drawing strength from the love and resilience that bound our family together. In the face of uncertainty, we stood united, our resolve unshakable in the face of adversity, as we braced ourselves for the tumultuous journey that lay ahead. I assumed the role of caretaker for our children during her military training, shouldering the responsibility with unwavering dedication. When the time came for her to request her first duty station, she boldly opted for the overseas assignment, a decision that would alter the course of our lives in unforeseen ways. Thus, we remained stationed in South Carolina, bidding our time, uh, biding our time until her training at Fort Sam Houston was complete. With the end of her training drawing near, I embarked on a journey with our children, traversing the vast expanse of the country to reunite our family in Fort Sam Houston, Texas. The prospect of being together once more infused our hearts with hope and anticipation, the promise of a new chapter awaiting us on the horizon. As we eagerly awaited her arrival, fate intervened once more, bestowing upon her military orders that would whisk us away to the distant shores of Germany. With a sense of serendipity that bordered on the miraculous, we found ourselves already in Germany when her orders came through, poised to embark on a new adventure as a united family. Stepping foot on foreign soil, a palpable sense of liberation enveloped us. The weight of our past fears and uncertainties lifted like a veil in the crisp European air. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, we breathed deeply, savoring the sweet taste of freedom that had long eluded us. In the sanctuary of our newfound home, we felt untouchable, a world away from the dangers that had once haunted our every waking moment. With the specter of danger now a distant memory, we embrace the opportunity to start anew, laying down roots in our adopted homeland. Inspired by a shared sense of faith and resilience, we embarked on a journey of spiritual renewal, opening our hearts and our homes to those seeking solace and community. In the hallowed halls of our humble church, we found purpose and belonging, a testament to the power of hope and perseverance in the face of adversity. While my wife diligently served as a nurse in Landstuhl, Germany, tending to the needs of others with unwavering compassion, I found myself at a crossroads, grappling with the call to embark on a new journey, one that would ultimately lead me to open a church. The genesis of this endeavor unfolded in a moment of divine intervention as I sat alone on the couch, contemplating my next steps in a foreign land. In the quiet solitude of our home, the Holy Spirit stirred within me, urging me to heed a higher calling. In a leap of faith, I poured out my heart in prayer, grappling with the enormity of the task laid before me. Lord, I beseeched, I hear you call, I hear your call to open a church, but I am but a humble man without the means or resources to bring such a vision to fruition. Yet, even in the depths of my uncertainty, I felt a reassuring presence enveloping me and a steadfast reminder that miracles can take root where faith abounds. With renewed determination, I set out to seek a venue for our fledgling church congregation. I'm sorry, you guys. With renewed determination, I set out to seek a venue for our fledgling congregation, guided by a sense of purpose that transcended earthly constraints. Fortune smiled upon me when I stumbled upon an empty building nestled near my wife's workplace on the army post. Adjacent to it stood Romeo's Pizza, a beacon of familiarity in a sea of uncertainty. With trepidation mingled with hope, I approached the owner, whose demeanor exuded warmth and skepticism. As I broached the subject of renting the space for our church, the owner's initial response was tinged with skepticism. "Do you have the means to afford it?" he inquired, his voice tinged with doubt. In that moment, faced with the prospect of financial uncertainty, I chose honesty over embellishment. "No," I confessed, "I do not possess the financial means to meet your demands." Yet, even as I spoke those words, I felt a quiet confidence welling up inside within me, a conviction that our shared vision was greater than any monetary barrier. With bated breath, I awaited with excuse me, with bated breath, I awaited his response, hoping against hope that he would see beyond the limitations of the material world and recognize the boundless potential that lay within our shared aspirations. I explained to the Lord, excuse me, I explained that the Lord had instructed me to come, promising that he would grant me the building. Despite his skepticism, I left my contact information and departed for my wife's workplace. Upon returning home, I engaged in a heartfelt conversation with the Lord, expressing my feelings of foolishness for approaching the man with an audacious request. The following day, to my astonishment, the man appeared at my wife's workplace, urgently seeking my presence. Word had spread, and he was determined to locate me. When he finally found me, exhaustion etched upon his face, he pressed the keys into my hand. Hold on. Yeah, y'all hear I'm reading this with all seriousness. Okay, let me start over. Word has spread, and he was determined to locate me. When he finally found me, exhaustion etched upon his face, he pressed the keys into my hand. He confessed, he confessed that he had been unable to sleep, tormented by his conscience. Take these keys, he implored. I cannot rest until this burden is lifted from my shoulders. In a poignant moment of vulnerability, he revealed his battle with throat cancer and beseeched me to pray for him. Money, he declared, was of no consequence. All he desired was the solace of my prayers. With the keys to the building now in my possession, we wasted no time in establishing our church, a humble sanctuary that would soon become a beacon of hope for our community. Within a matter of weeks, our congregation flourished, drawing newcomers with each passing Sunday. Woo. That was chapter 7, y'all. That was chapter 7. That was chapter 7. Please like and share the video, y'all. Please like and share. Please like and share. We are doing a live reading of The Hitman and the Preacher. And we are about to start chapter 8. Let me take a sip. Clear my throat, child. Whew. Okay, let us continue. All right, you guys, we are reading The Hitman and the Preacher. This is chapter 8, From Ashes to Refuge. From the moment our church door swung open for the first time, it seemed Providence had blessed us abundantly. Within a mere 30 days, our congregation swelled to over 30 fervent souls. We took up the mantle of shepherding this flock, and in our humble sanctuary, miracles unfolded. Lives were transformed, salvation found, and the chains of bondage shattered. News of the spiritual revival within our modest walls spread like wildfire, drawing seekers from far and wide, even across the breadth of Europe. Our quaint little church became a beacon of hope and renewal, attracting curious visitors from every corner. It was a sight to behold, witnessing the tapestry of humanity converging in pursuit of faith and redemption. Meanwhile, amidst the spiritual fervor, I found myself navigating the earthly realm as a supervisor in a junkyard parts facility. Days were spent overseeing operations, but my heart remained tethered to the spiritual journey unfolding within our congregation. Then came the fateful call that shattered the tranquil rhythm of our lives. Racing along the Autobahn, the world's fastest highway, I hurtled towards home with a sense or foreboding gnawing it at my soul. Pulling onto Launchstool Hill, the sight that greeted me was one of chaos and despair. Government housing, where my family resided, was engulfed in turmoil. Fire trucks blared, military police stood vigilant, and the air crackled with tension. Racing through the throngs of onlookers, I felt a surge of panic grips my heart. The reason for the urgent summons became painfully clear. Amidst the chaos, my mind raced, but one thought consumed me: the safety of my children. Ignoring the barricades and chaos, I dashed toward the heart of the commotion, desperately seeking their presence amidst the chaos. For at that moment, amidst the sirens and the chaos, nothing mattered more than ensuring the safety of my beloved family. The aftermath of the fire was a scene straight out of a nightmare. Smoke billowed from the charred remains of what was once our home, tendrils of destruction weaving through the corridors of government housing. The stove, left unattended, had become a malevolent agent of chaos, unleashing flames that devour everything in its path. The damage, totaling a staggering okay. The damage, totaling a staggering $150,000, was a testament to the relentless fury of the inferno. Amidst the chaotic scene, face excuse me, amidst the chaotic scene, faces blurred together in a sea of concerned onlookers, their expressions reflecting the urgency of the moment. My heart pounded fiercely against my ribs as I scanned the throng, my eyes darting anxiously in search of any glimpse of my precious children. Every passing second felt like an eternity that as fear clawed at my insides. Then, amidst the tumult, excuse me, then amidst the tumult and cacophony came the words I had been desperately yearning for, confirmation that my children were safe. Relief surged through me like a torrent, overwhelming the panic that had threatened to consume me moments before. It was as if a heavy burden had been lifted, replaced by an immense wave of gratitude that washed away the dread. However, as the authorities guided us toward the back of the wait of a waiting police car, reality descended upon us with crushing force, like like a relentless wave crashing upon the shore. Seated alongside my wife, the weight of our predicament settled upon our shoulders like an oppressive shroud. The tears glistening in her eyes mirrored the ache in my own heart, both of us grappling with the enormity of our situation. Here we were, stranded in a foreign land, our sense of security shattered and stripped of everything we held dear. The uncertainty of what lay ahead loomed ominously, casting a shadow over our thoughts and dreams. In that moment, as we sat silently in the back of that police car, we clung to each other for support, united by the profound bound of love amidst the chaos of our circumstances. In that cramped space, surrounded by the stark metal confines of the police car, the full extent of our loss hit us like a physical blow. Memories, cherished possessions, the very essence of our past, all reduced to ash and rubble. My wife's tears flowed freely, each droplet a silent testament to the depth of our despair. Then, amidst the chaos, a beacon of humanity emerged. Tony, a familiar face in the crowd, saw our anguish and cried out in solidarity. His voice pierced through the din and rally cry of, excuse me, and, hold on. His voice peered through the din. A rallying cry for compassion in the face of adversity. As his tears mingled with ours, the barriers of formality crumbled away, leaving only the rawness of shared grief. It was then that a ray of hope pierced through the darkness. A colonel's wife, her compassion, a guiding light in the chaos, intervened on our behalf. With unwavering resolve, she insisted that we be freed from the confines of the police car, offering sanctuary within the walls of her own home. Guided by her gentle hand, we found ourselves welcomed into her abode, a refuge amidst the storm. She enveloped us with her husband in a cocoon of empathy and understanding. As we sat there, surrounded by the warmth of of their hospitality, we found solace in the simple act of human connection. As the colonel's wife bustled about the kitchen, preparing tea with a kindness that seemed to belie the gravity of the situation, her husband, a stern figure in military regalia, loomed over us with a palpable air of disapproval. Anger simmered beneath the surface of his demeanor, his words laced with accusation and condemnation. He wasted no time in vetting his frustration, his voice a thunderous barrage of threats and recriminations. Each syllable was a dagger aimed at our already wounded hearts, promising repercussions that loomed ominously in the horizon. But amidst his tirade, I refused to cower. Though a civilian in the face of his military authority, I stood firm. I bulwarked. What? I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know what that word is. A bulwark of defiance against the storm of his indignation. For me, it was a matter of principle. Here was a man supposed to be a protector of the people, lashing out with unchecked aggression toward me and my wife. The instinct to defend her honor, to confront him man to man, burned within me like a raging fire. As tensions escalated, our exchange cracked with the intensity of two opposing forces on a collision course, and his wife intervened. With a courage born of empathy, she stepped between us, a beacon of reason in the midst of chaos. Soft yet resolute, excuse me, soft yet resolute words carried the weight of righteousness as she pleaded for understanding and compassion in the face of tragedy. Her insistence, a resolute defense of our plight, became an impenetrable shield against the relentless onslaught of his fury. Each word she spoke echoed with conviction, a steadfast resolve that seemed to chip away at the walls of his anger. As she stood her ground, unwavering in her determination, a remarkable transformation took place. His aggressive stance softened. His features gradually relaxed into a begrudging acceptance of her unwavering wisdom. Yet it was not solely her words that offered solace in our darkest hour. No, it was the profound kindness radiating from every line of her face, every gesture of her being. The warmth of her embrace enveloped us as she sat with us on the floor, her presence a soothing balm to our wounded spirits. At that moment, it felt as though God Himself had sent His angel of mercy to watch over us and shield us from the world's harshness. Her compassion, a beacon of light amidst the shadows, illuminated the path forward, instilling a glimmer of hope amidst the despair within us. As we gazed into her eyes, we found not just solace, but a renewed sense of strength to face whatever trials lay ahead. In her presence, we discovered the true essence of humanity, a boundless capacity for love and empathy that transcended the barriers of language and circumstance. As she spoke to her husband, her voice was a gentle persuasion that softened the hard edges of his resolve, and a sense of relief washed over us. For in her, we found an ally and a lifeline, someone who understood the depth of our loss and was determined to help us rebuild. In her, we found a protector and a minister of grace, guiding us through the darkness with the light of her compassion. As we sat together, enveloped in her embrace, we knew that no matter what the challenges ahead, We would not face them alone. In mere days, we found ourselves whisked away into a sprawling 6-bedroom palace, a place so breathtakingly beautiful that it felt like stepping into a dream. The sheer grandeur of it all overwhelmed us. Each room was a sanctuary meticulously designed for every member of our family. It was a haven amidst the chaos, a sanctuary we never dare we never dare imagined. We never dared imagine. As we settled into our new home, the kindness of strangers continued to astound us. Vouchers in hand, we ventured to DRMO, where we were met with an abundance of military furniture and bedding, each piece a symbol of support and care for from a community we had yet to fully comprehend. Brand new carpeting adorned every inch of our palace, transforming it into a haven of warmth and comfort. Then came the generosity of the government, a lifeline extended just when we needed it most. Thousands upon thousands of dollars poured in, a financial reprieve that seemed almost too good to be true. But it didn't stop there. Friends from our past, from one of our old churches, rallied around us, offering not just money, but clothes, toiletries, and every essential we could possibly need. Their generosity was a beacon of hope in our darkest hour. But amidst the blessings, there was also heartache. Article 15 loomed over my wife, a burden that weighed heavily on our shoulders, especially being so far from home with our children. The decision to leave Germany was painful, made even more so by the tearful farewells of our beloved church community. Their anguish mirrored our own, their pleas for us to stay echoing in our ears long after we departed. In the end, despite their desperate uh, entreaties, okay. In the end, despite their desperate entreaties, I found myself powerless to change my wife's decision. It was a choice born of necessity, tinged with sorrow and regret, as we left behind the only home we had ever known overseas. Our hearts ached with the bittersweet realization that sometimes even the most well meaning gestures cannot mend what has been broken. Ooh, child. That was chapter 8, y'all. Mm-mm-mm-mm. We're listening, we're reading, and we don't judge. Okay, y'all. Do y'all hear me right now? Look, we just read. We ain't judging right now. Okay, I'm judging in my head, but I'm not judging out loud. We just reading it right now. All right, y'all. Let's keep going. We're starting chapter 9. We're on the last 3 chapters, y'all. Okay, yeah, we are reading The Hitman and the Preacher. This is chapter 9, Navigating Betrayal, Bounty, and Boundless Determination. My wife longed to escape, her heart heavy with the weight of hurt and humiliation. The pain of betrayal lingered like a bitter taste in her mouth, pushing her to flee from the place that had brought her so much anguish. With resolve in her eyes and determination in her heart, she made the decision to return home to Georgia, seeking solace in familiar surroundings. But as we embarked on their journey, but as we embarked on their journey back to the United States, our pockets were heavy with the unexpected bounty of thousands of dollars. It was a small comfort in the face of uncertainty, a lifeline we clung to as we navigated the complexities of starting anew. Yet, despite the financial cushion, our path was fraught with challenges, particularly as our children approached the precipice of adulthood. With college and school looming in the horizon for our children, practically, excuse me, y'all. With college and school looming on the horizon for our children, practicality dictated our next steps. Three different vehicles became a necessity, each purchase a reminder of the sacrifices made for the ones we loved. Yet, even with the weight of responsibility bearing down upon us, the burden of finding shelter remained. Our temporary refuge became a hotel in the bustling city of Atlanta, a place of refuge that came at a steep cost. Every night spent within its walls served as a stark reminder of the precariousness of our situation, the urgency to carve out a new existence palpable in every moment. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, a flicker of hope emerged. In the depth of our struggle, an idea took root, a beacon of possibility in an otherwise bleak landscape. It was a it was a spark of innovation, a glimmer of light in the darkness, offering a glimpse of fortune. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, let me start that sentence over. It was a spark of innovation, a glimmer of light in the darkness, offering a glimpse of a future filled with promise and potential. I proposed a solution born out of desperation and determination. Let's buy a trailer and seek refuge in Alabama, where the cost of living is more affordable. With hope flickering like a fragile flame, we made the bold decision to invest in 40 acres of land, a symbol of our unwavering commitment to building a new life from the ashes of our past. Though our initial plan was to purchase the entire plot, financial constraints forced us to settle for 20 acres in Randolph County, Alabama. Leaving behind the confines of the hotel, where each day felt like a race against time and dwindling resources. Excuse me, let me read that over again. Leaving behind the confines of the hotel, where each day felt like a race against time and dwindling resources, we embarked on the journey to our new home. It was a leap of faith, a desperate gamble made in the 11th hour. As we crossed state lines into Alabama, the weight of uncertainty bore down upon us, each mile marking a step closer to a future filled with unknowns. Settling into our humble trailer, I poured every ounce of my being into transforming it into a sanctuary where we could find respite from the storms that raged outside. Every nail hammered, every board secured was a testament to our resilience, a reminder that we refuse to be defeated, even in the face of adversity. But a chilling realization dawned upon us amidst the sweat and toil of rebuilding our lives. In the quiet of the evening, as I returned home, weary from a day's labor, I found my wife sitting on the couch, her eyes glazed with disbelief. The air hung heavy with tension as she uttered those fateful words, her voice trembling with fear and uncertainty. "Harold," she whispered, "they're still looking for us." Yeah, I can't. I can't. It is thinking I'm fighting for my life over here. Nothing. Not the Herald. They're still looking for us. I can't. All right, let me read okay. Let me read it again. The air hung heavy with tension as she uttered those fateful words, her voice trembling with fear and uncertainty. "Harold," she whispered, "they're still looking for us." Okay. 5 long years had passed, yet the specter of danger still loomed over us like a dark cloud. My wife's words cut through the tranquility of our newfound sanctuary, her voice heavy with worry and apprehension. It wasn't just the mere fact that people were asking about us. It was the sinister undertones, the unspoken threats that hung in the air like a palpable menace. She knew, deep down, that our peace was but a fragile illusion, shattered by the relentless pursuit of those who sought to do us harm. So here we were, nestled in the quiet solitude of our trailer, surrounded by acres of untamed beauty that we called our own. The land stretched out before us like a canvas of dreams, each stream and meadow a testament to the freedom we had fought so hard to attain. In the gentle embrace of nature, we found solace, a respite from the chaos that seemed to follow us at every turn. But our idyllic existence was short lived, shattered by the harsh reality of our circumstances. We faced the painful truth with a heavy heart. We were no longer safe here. The very land that had once offered us sanctuary now felt like a prison, its beauty tainted by the looming threat of danger. As we hastily packed our belongings into the confines of our SUV, the weight of uncertainty bore down upon us. Every item we stowed away was a reminder of the life we were leaving behind, a stark testament to the harsh realities of our existence. Yet, amidst the chaos, there was a glimmer of hope, a desperate attempt to make sense of the madness that had engulfed us. With trembling hands, I dialed a familiar number, hoping against hope for some semblance of answers. Was it all just a cruel hoax, or were we truly in danger? The voice on the other end offered no solace or reassurance, only the cold, hard truth that our enemies were closer than we had ever imagined. Therefore, with a heavy heart and a sense of foreboding, we set out once more into the unknown, leaving behind the echoes of our shattered dreams in the quiet stillness of our abandoned home. The hotel room felt suffocating, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on us like a heavy blanket. As I demanded answers from the hotel staff, their vague responses offered little comfort, only serving to deepen the sense of dread that hung in the air like a thick fog. It was a chilling realization that we were not safe here, that danger lurked just beyond the walls of our temporary refuge. With every passing minute, the threat drew closer, a menacing shadow looming over, excuse me. With every passing minute, the threat drew closer, a menacing, oh God. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my tongue together. With every passing minute, the threat drew closer, a menacing shadow looming ever larger on the horizon. There was no time to waste, no luxury of deliberation. We had to act, and we had to act fast. In a flurry of frantic activity, we gathered our belongings, each item a lifeline in the face of imminent danger. The children's clothes, their school supplies, every shred of paperwork that held even the slightest semblance of importance. Nothing was left behind as we hastily packed our lives into the confines of our vehicle. Then, without a moment's hesitation, we were on the move once more, the road stretching out before us like a path to the unknown. But amidst the chaos, there was a flicker of determination. Excuse me. But amidst the chaos, there was a flicker of determination in my wife's eyes, a silent resolve that spoke volumes. Though separated by oceans and continents, our bond remained unbroken, our shared goal driving us forward in the face of adversity. With a heavy heart, I made the difficult decision to leave my wife behind, her safety entrusted to the care of a trusted friend. It was a sacrifice born out of necessity, a temporary separation in service of a greater purpose. As I embarked on yet another journey overseas, the weight of responsibility hung heavy on my shoulders. Each step forward a testament to the lengths we would go to protect our family. But even in the darkest of moments, there was a glimmer of hope, a belief that no matter the obstacle we faced, we would emerge stronger and more resilient than before. So with determination in our hearts and the promise of a brighter future on the horizon, we pressed on, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As I journeyed back overseas in the search of a new beginning, the landscape of familiarity had shifted beneath my feet. The once thriving churches that had been my pillars of support now stood empty and desolate, their halls echoing with the ghost of bygone congregations. Yet, amidst the rubble of broken dreams, a beacon of hope emerged in the form of an old acquaintance, a minister whose kindness would become my lifeline in a sea of uncertainty. With open arms, he welcomed me into his home, a refuge amidst the storm of upheaval. It was a gesture of generosity that touched me to the core, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there are still rays of light to guide us through the darkness. As he handed me the keys to one of his vehicles, a symbol of newfound freedom, I couldn't help but feel a surge of gratitude for this unexpected blessing. It's impossible to navigate Europe without a vehicle, he insisted, his voice filled with conviction. Take this van, and may it serve you well on your journey. In the warmth of his home, surrounded by the laughter of his family, I found solace in the midst of chaos. It was a temporary respite, a fleeting moment of peace before the harsh realities of life came crashing back in. But even as I struggled to find my footing in this unfamiliar land, I refused to succumb to despair. With determination in my heart, I sought out whatever employment I could find. No task too humble, no job too menial. Although washing dishes may have seemed like a small victory to some, to me it was a sign of progress, a step forward in the path of rebuilding my life. In the midst of my newfound stability, I found myself drawn to a church where my benefactor and my wife worshiped. Excuse me, my benefactor and his wife worshiped. It was a sanctuary of faith and fellowship, a place where I could find solace in the company of kindred spirits. But even within its hollowed walls, whispers of discord lingered, reminders of the fragile nature of human relationships. The minister who had extended his hand in fellowship had a past marred by mistakes, and his fall from grace was a stain on his reputation. Yet, despite his flaws, I couldn't help but admire his resilience and his unwavering commitment to serving others in spite of his own shortcomings. As the congregation grappled with the complexities of forgiveness and redemption, I couldn't help but wonder about the true nature of grace, a concept as elusive as it was profound. As I bore witness to the inner turmoil of those around me, I couldn't help but reflect on my journey toward healing and redemption. That was chapter 9. Whew. That one was a little bit of struggle to get through too. Mm. Y'all hanging in there? Y'all all right? Please like the video, share the video. We're doing a live reading of The Hitman and the Preacher. I am your girl, Dolores, the pastor's daughter. Okay, y'all, let's keep going. Y'all all right? We're going to just hang on in there. We got 2 more chapters, honey, okay? Okay, y'all, we are reading The Hitman and the Preacher. This is chapter 10, Family, Faith, and Finding Purpose. No matter how much we try to prepare, there's one facet of life that remains elusive: the insidious grip of PTSD. Despite the positive changes unfolding in my life, the trauma I endured refused to loosen its hold, manifesting itself in the relentless presence of PTSD. PTSD is a silent assailant that infiltrates the very essence of one's being, reshaping their perceptions and responses to the world around them. Its effects are subtle yet profound, often hidden beneath the veneer of normalcy until familiarity unveils the stark contrast in behavior. It wasn't until I intimately knew my family that I began to discern the quiet struggles they bore from the threats upon their lives. Let me read that again, y'all. It wasn't until I intimately knew my family that I began to discern the quiet struggles they bore from the threats upon their lives. The once carefree demeanor of my children had undergone a transformation, their innocence marred by the invisible scars of trauma. Despite their enduring beauty and innate kindness, it was evident that they grappled with the burden of PTSD. How does a parent navigate the delicate terrain of raising children whose innocence has been tainted by fear? How does one explain the necessity of silence amidst the cacophony of danger, or deny them the simple joys of play when the specter of uncertainty looms overhead? Every hush uttered, every hush ordered. Ooh, hold on, y'all. Let me take a sip because these words is running together. Okay. Every hush uttered in response to a noise, every denial of outdoor adventures is infused with the weight of a parent's unspoken anguish, bore from the relentless vigilance demanded by their circumstances. In those moments of enforced stillness, one can't help but feel the palpable tension in the air, a chilling reminder of the ever present threat that refuses to loosen its grip. In the embroidery of raising kids, amidst the everyday bumps and scrapes that come with childhood, there was a tricky balance overshadowed by the looming threat of being kicked out of Europe. As parents, we know that kids, no matter where they are, will inevitably find themselves in some mischief. But our situation was far from normal. We were on thin ice, with our stay in Europe at risk due to the range of events from a big fire at a government building to the usual antics of our children. Let me read that one more time. Hold on. As parents, we know that kids, no matter where they are, will inevitably find themselves in some mischief. But our situation was far from normal. We were on thin ice, with our stay in Europe at risk due to a range of events, from a big fire at a government building to the usual antics of our children. The seriousness of the situation weighed heavy on us. Every day felt like walking a tightrope between protecting our kids and keeping our fragile lives together. The thought that our children's typical kid stuff could uproot us from the only stability we had left haunted us constantly. I can't bear to think about what our kids went through in the middle of such tough times. Their innocence, once a source of joy, now reminded us of the danger we were all in. Let me read that again. I can't bear to think about what our kids went through in the middle of such tough times. Their innocence, once a source of joy, now reminded us of the danger we were all in. We weren't just trying to help them grow up, we were trying to shield them from the very real threat that hung over our heads. Our days were a whirlwind of survival, with every stern word and punishment tinged with desperation. We wrestled with guilt for putting our kids through trials they shouldn't have faced at such a young age, knowing that our survival depended on them staying strong with us. In the face of adversity, our roles as parents and protectors blurred together as we navigated through unfamiliar territory out of sheer necessity. Our love for our kids kept us grounded when things got tough and pushed us forward when we felt like giving up. Despite the challenges we faced, my children have grown into genuinely kind hearted individuals. Even though occasional conflicts may arise, even now, my love for them remains unwavering. I hold them in the highest regard, recognizing the profound impact of PTSD on our lives. Understanding the depth of that impact has been an eye opening journey. It's a reality I've come to accept, a toll that had been paid. Excuse me, a toll that had to be paid, even though its weight remained invisible to others. No one could perceive the silent struggles I endured. No one could fathom the anguish that gnawed at me when my children ventured out into the world, their safety a constant source of concern. The unseen burden of a father haunted by the looming threat of violence against his family is a heavy one to bear. The thought of harm befalling my offspring was a specter that loomed over every moment, casting a shadow over the simple joys of parenthood. Navigating life with my family was akin to juggling a multitude of personalities, each as unique as they were diverse. With five distinct children, each with their own set of quirks and characteristics. And then there was my wife, with her individuality adding another layer of complexity to our dynamic. It was a delicate dance, one that required constant vigilance and adaptability. Every day presented new challenges as I grappled not only with the external threats looming over us, but also with the internal struggles that remained hidden from view. The weight of responsibility bore down on me, leaving me in a perpetual state of tension and anxiety. Why did daddy seem distant? Why did daddy's temper flare at the slightest provocation? These were questions that lingered in the minds of my loved ones, born from a lack of understanding of the burdens I carried. The invisible wounds I bore ran deep, their impact reverberating within the confines of my own being. Though unseen, they were keenly felt, a constant reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of preserving our family's safety and well being. To my family, I extend my sincerest apologies for any pain or confusion my actions may have caused. Every decision, every sacrifice was made with the sole intention of safeguarding the ones I hold most dear. Yet I acknowledge that my efforts may have inadvertently caused hurt or resentment. I harbor no bitterness, only a profound sense of remorse for any distress I may have caused. If there are wounds that linger, I understand and I humbly ask for forgiveness. My only hope is that in time, understanding and healing may pave the way for reconciliation and peace within our family. Returning to the discussion left unfinished in the previous chapter, the focus was on the minister. Despite his current role within the church, his past was marked by less than favorable circumstances. The community harbored grievances against him, urging me to take action. Allegations surfaced suggesting inappropriate conduct with a young woman, despite his marital status, which led to doubts about his suitability for the ministry within our congregation. In response, I reasoned with them, explaining that the reported incident occurred before his affiliation with our church. The situation escalated when they presented me with an ultimatum: either remove the minister or they would withdraw 8 members along with the vital TAD funding that sustained our church's operations. Let me read that one more time. The situation escalated when they presented me with an ultimatum: either remove the minister or they would withdraw 8 members along with the vital TAD funding that sustained our church's operations. Undeterred by their threats, I stood firm in my convictions, refusing to cast judgment on the minister for transgressions predating his commitment to our congregation and his renewed faith in the Lord. I emphasize the importance of redemption and forgiveness, recognizing the transformative power of spiritual renewal. This man, once troubled by his past, had undergone a profound change, embodying the essence of a new creature in Christ. His gesture of goodwill didn't go unnoticed. He welcomed me into his home, provided me with transportation, and extended his care and support during my time in Germany. This experience taught me a valuable lesson. People are not disposable commodities to be discarded at the whim of others' judgments. Let me read that again. This experience taught me a valuable lesson. People are not disposable commodities to be discarded at the whim of others' judgments. The minister, despite his flaws, played a pivotal role in my life, offering me refuge and opportunities that ultimately shaped my journey. It reinforced the principle that compassion and understanding should prevail over the desire for retribution. Furthermore, the minister's kindness extended beyond our personal interactions. He introduced me to his church community, which sadly faced persecution, compelling them to flee the country. This added this added layer of adversity underscored the fragility of human connections and the resilience required to navigate life's challenges. The pastors of the church I was invited to faced the harsh reality of having to flee the country, leaving behind a congregation in need of guidance and support. In a remarkable turn of events, I found myself thrust into a leadership role, assuming the responsibility of an assistant pastor under the oversight of a bishop. Suddenly, I was at the helm of a church community, entrusted with shepherding its members through tumultuous times. As fate would have it, the bishop, too, was compelled to depart, leaving behind an apartment that he generously passed on to me. It was nothing short of a miracle, a testament to the unforeseen blessings that often arise from adversity. With swift determination, I embraced my newfound role as pastor, stepping into the shoes of those who had gone before me. Within mere months of returning to Europe, I found myself at the helm of a thriving congregation, brimming with eager souls seeking solace and spiritual guidance. The support extended to me by the kind hearted individuals who crossed my paths crossed my path was insurmountable. No longer confined to living in their homes, I now had a vehicle at my disposal, a job to sustain us, and a roof over our heads. The pieces of the puzzle were falling into place, paving the way for a long awaited reunion with my wife and family. As they arrived in Europe, my wife seamlessly transitioned into her role as co pastor, her presence a source of strength and unity. Despite never having received our official licenses, our shared commitment to ministry and guidance we received through ministerial classes prepared us for the journey ahead. Together, we embarked on a new chapter, fortified by faith and by y'all. Hold on. Together, we embarked on a new chapter, fortified by faith and buoyed by the unwavering support of our newfound community. It was a testament to the transformative power of resilience, perseverance, and the boundless grace of God. Following our licensing by Bishop Lee H. Evans in Europe, we underwent rigorous training and received our official paperwork, marking the beginning of our formal ministry journey on the continent. However, with our our path was not without its twists and turns. Initially, we found ourselves settled at a church where we served diligently for a period. Yet, an invitation from another congregation to pastor their church presented itself, and we accepted the opportunity, embracing the challenge with open hearts. However, a lingering sense of unease gnawed at us despite our dedication to the church we were leading. We longed for the autonomy and sense of ownership that comes with shepherding our own congregation, much like we had done at the outset of our journey in Europe. Eventually, our persistence bore fruit, and we were blessed with the opportunity to establish our own church. To our amazement, the church seemed to flourish. The church seemed to flourish overnight, drawing in members from near and far, eager to partake in the community we had fostered. As our church grew, so did our responsibility beyond the pulpit. My wife, now a European civilian, found fulfillment in her role at a child care development center, while honing her culinary skills. She secured employment as a wage grade worker for the government, a position I too held, cementing our ties to the community and providing stability alongside our pastoral duties. In this newfound equilibrium of government employment and pastoral ministry, we found a sense of fulfillment and purpose, our professional endeavors intertwining seamlessly with our spiritual calling. Together, we embarked on a journey of service and devotion, guided by faith and a shared commitment to making a positive impact on the lives of those around us. Oof. That was chapter 10, y'all. That was chapter 10. Oh my God. All right, y'all. This is the final chapter. Final chapter. Okay, you guys, we have been reading The Hitman and the Preacher. This is chapter 11, The Dawn of Hope. Hold on. Excuse me. Let me do that again. This is chapter 11, The Dawn of Hope. Europe greeted us once again. 5 years had passed since our last footsteps echoed through its streets. As I stand here, the familiarity of it all washes over me like a comforting wave. It's as if time had circled back, returning us to our starting point. Life has been kind to us in these years. We have ascended to a place of comfort and prosperity. Our residence now graces the grandeur of the royal, a testament to our journey from humble beginnings to esteemed status. But it's not just the luxury of our abode that speaks volumes, it's the symbolism it carries, a marker of our triumph over adversity. In this foreign land, we have carved out our own sanctuary, a church where the doors swing wide for all who seek solace. It's a peculiar sight, a civilian pastor tending to the spiritual needs of military personnel. Yet here we stand, bridging the gap between two worlds, our voices resonating within the walls as we preach words of hope and salvation. Our congregation burgeons with each passing day, a testament to the enthusiasm and passion that pulse within us. But with growth comes a clamor, a cacophony of voices raised in praise and worship that spills beyond the confines of our sanctuary. We have become too loud for our own quarters. A excuse me. We have become too loud for our own quarters, a realization that prompts a bittersweet move. In his infinite wisdom, God guides us across the threshold, leading us to civilian housing nestled within the heart of the government domain. It's a transition that feels like coming full circle, a return of property to its rightful owners, the Germans. As we settle into our new surroundings, I can't help but feel a sense of deja vu. Here we are, back where we started, yet infinitely changed by our journey that brought us here. Hold on, y'all. Yet infinitely changed by the journey that brought us here. The echoes of home reverberated. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay. The echoes of home reverberate through these halls, reminding us of the trials we have overcome and the blessings we have been bestowed. Amidst it all, we stand, ready to embrace whatever lies ahead on this new chapter of our European Odyssey. Settling into our home on the airbase, we found ourselves in the middle of something quite interesting. Outside our church, the German government was busy testing Mercedes Benz cars. It was quite a sight, with technicians putting these vehicles through their paces while we conducted our services inside. After church, everyone would spill out to watch the tests. It was fascinating to see how they tested the cars, especially with water and ice in front of us. But amidst all this excitement, we had our jobs to focus on. Both my wife and I were working for the government now. Undoubtedly, these were good jobs, but they came with their challenges. Working in government jobs meant dealing with a lot of rules and bureaucracy. It wasn't always easy, and there were times when we faced obstacles that made things difficult. Still, we did not let that deter us. Our faith kept us going, strengthening us even when things got tough. With the support of our church community, we knew we could overcome any challenge that came our way. Life on the airbase was full of contrasts, from the roar of engines during car tests to the quiet moments of worship in our church. It was a place where different worlds collided. Through it all, we remained determined to make the most of our new life, knowing that each obstacle was just another opportunity to grow and learn. The competition for these government jobs was fierce. Those who had settled in Germany, marrying locals, were incredibly determined to secure these positions. They were they saw them as jobs and tickets to stability and prosperity. But amidst the allure of these roles, there lurked a darker reality, a reality tinged with racial tension and sabotage. In my job, I faced challenges from these underlying tensions. People sought to undermine my work, driven by prejudice and a desire to see me fail. Every day became a battle, a struggle to prove myself in adversity. God had blessed me with intelligence and resilience. I refused to be deterred by the obstacles thrown my way. Instead, I devised a strategy to outsmart my detractors. I would present my work to the supervisor each evening, ensuring it was thoroughly checked and signed off. This way, when the sabotage inevitably occurred overnight, there was tangible evidence of foul play. It was a constant game of cat and mouse, but I refused to be the mouse. Armed with faith and determination, I confronted each challenge head on, refusing to let the machinations of others dictate my destiny. As I persevered through the trials, I found solace in knowing that God was by my side, guiding me through the stormy seas of prejudice and adversity. As tensions escalated in my new workplace, the situation drew attention from authorities back in Texas. Reports of racial slurs and attempts to replace us with individuals who did not share our background reached the ears of government officials. It was a stark reminder of the discrimination we faced, a bitter pill to swallow as we fought to retain our livelihoods. Meanwhile, at our church, we found ourselves amid a stark contrast. The carpentry, our new sanctuary, stood as a beacon of hope and unity, a sprawling edifice capable of accommodating thousands. Yet, despite its grandeur, our congregation remained humble in size, num- numbering only a fraction of its capacity. Of its capacity. It was a peculiar irony to preach within the vast expanse of our new church, knowing that its walls could echo with the voices of thousands, while outside those walls, I battled against prejudice and injustice in my workplace. Even as I stood before the congregation, delivering messages of faith and resilience, the weight of my struggles pressed heavily upon me. In those preaching moments, I found solace and strength, drawing inspiration from the unwavering faith of those gathered before me. Their presence reminded me that despite our trials, we were not alone. Together, we stood as a testament to the power of community and resilience, refusing to be silenced by the injustices that sought to divide us. As I spoke, the words flowed from my lips, imbued with a sense of conviction and determination. For in that sacred place, amidst the grandeur of the carpentry, we found refuge from the storms of prejudice and discrimination, united in our pursuit of justice and equality. As I stood before the congregation, preparing to deliver my sermon, a tumult of emotion surged within me. The weight of the injustices faced in my workplace bore down on my spirit, mingling with the fervent prayers I offered up for those in need. Addressing the congregation, I spoke of the trials and tribulations that many endured, assuring them that God would not turn a blind eye to their suffering. For those who seek to bring trouble upon you, I proclaimed, God's righteousness fire, God's righteous fire will rain down upon them. In that moment, as the words left my lips, a remarkable turn of events unfolded. My deacon, a stalwart soldier who prided himself on punctuality, arrived late, an unprecedented occurrence. His solemn demeanor was, excuse me, his solemn demeanor as he approached me spoke volumes before he even uttered a word. Seated beside me, he delivered news that sent shivers down my spine. "Where you work," he began, his voice heavy with gravity, "is engulfed in flames. Fire trucks swarmed the area, and I was delayed in reaching church as I waited for them to clear the way." It was a revelation that resonated deeply within me, a stark reminder of the divine protection that encircled us even amid adversity. In that moment, I was reminded of the immutable truth that God's providence remains steadfast no matter where we find ourselves. With a renewed sense of faith and purpose, I rose to deliver my sermon, encouraged by the assurance that God would indeed watch over his own. As the congregation listened intently, I shared the miraculous revelation, emphasizing that his protection would never waver, even in the face of raging fires. For in that sacred space, excuse me, y'all, hold on. For in that sacred space, amidst the flickering candles and hushed whispers of prayer, we found solace in the knowledge that no trial was too great, no challenge too daunting, for the Almighty was ever present, guiding us through the darkest of nights into the radiant dawn of His grace. As I stood there recounting the trials and triumphs of my journey, I couldn't help but be overwhelmed by the profound sense of gratitude, the awe that filled my heart. God had remained faithful through every adversity and challenge, a steadfast guardian shielding my family and me from harm. Reflecting on the past decades spent in Europe, I marveled at the countless doors that had been flung open by divine providence. From establishing our church to navigating government employment intricacies, each opportunity had been a testament to God's unwavering grace. Amidst the blessings, a shadow of uncertainty lingered, a longing in my wife's heart to return home. Despite, despite the years of toil and triumphs, she yearned for the familiar embrace of our homeland. Her resolve was unyielding, her desire to depart from Europe unshakable. Therefore, with heavy hearts, we made the decision to bid farewell to the land that had become our second home. As we embarked on the journey back, I could not help but ponder the lessons learned, the trials endured, and the faith that had sustained us through it all. This book, I realized, was more than just a recounting of personal experiences. It was a testament to the reality of spiritual warfare. From the very moment of my birth, the devil had sought to extinguish the flame of my existence, from the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck to the trials I faced in adulthood. Yet through it all, God remained a beacon of hope, guiding us through the darkest nights and into the light of his eternal love. As I penned these words, I did so to share my story and remind pastors everywhere that the battle against evil is accurate and the only through excuse me, and only through unwavering faith and divine protection can we hope to emerge victorious. As I continued to reflect on the trials and tribulations that had marked my journey, memories of darker days resurfaced, haunting reminders of the relentless assaults waged by the enemy. From a tender age, I had been thrust into a world tainted by violence and depravity, forced to confront the rawness and brutality of existence. But just not, excuse me, at just 9 years old, I found myself crafting makeshift weapons, zip guns to safeguard my family in a world where danger lurked around every corner. I had seen the horror of humanity, the seething underbelly of society laid bare before me, and I had no choice but to navigate its treacherous waters alone. As I matured, the specter of violence continued to loom large, casting its shadow over my life. I witnessed my beloved wife fall victim to a senseless shooting, a moment of despair that threatened to consume me whole. Yet, even in my darkest hour, God's guiding hand was ever present, leading me through the labyrinth of alleyways, evading capture and persevering, and preserving my sanity amidst the chaos. There were moments, there were moments when I teetered on the brink of darkness, when the allure of revenge and retribution beckoned like a siren's call. Yet in those moments of temptation, God's voice whispered softly, urging me to remain steadfast in his grace. There are parts of my story that I cannot bring myself to recount, horrors too harrowing to be spoken aloud. I cannot describe the countless times the enemy sought to snuff out my life, nor the countless battles fought in the shadows to protect those I held dear. But through it all, God's light shone brightest in the darkest of hours, transforming me from a mere survivor into a warrior, a sentinel standing guard against the encroaching darkness. As I penned these words, I did so not to glorify violence or myself, but to bear witness to the unfathomable depths of God's mercy and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unspeakable evil. The tumultuous journey of my life from the battlegrounds of war to the depths of addiction served as a crucible through which God's grace and redemption flowed. In the crucible of military yeah. In the In the crucible of military conflict, amidst the chaos of Operation Desert Storm and Operation Desert Shield, I witnessed the transformative power of faith unfold. As a soldier, I had experienced the horrors of war firsthand, grappling with the weight of mortality and the fragility of human existence. Yet it was in those darkest moments that God's divine purpose became manifest. Through a series of remarkable twists of fate, I found myself positioned in the heart of the battlefield, not as a warrior, but as a vessel of God's love and compassion, baptizing soldiers before they embarked on their perilous journey into the desert sands. I became acutely aware of the gravity of my calling. These were not just men and women in uniform. They were someone's sons and daughters, entrusted into my care by a higher power. With each baptism, I bore witness to the transformative power of faith, as fear gave way to hope and despair yielded to divine assurance. Beside me stood my wife, a pillar of strength and compassion, as she assumed the role of mother to soldiers far from home. Together, we nurtured and guided these young men and women, offering them solace and support in the midst of uncertainty and danger. It wasn't until years later that the full magnitude of our mission became clear to me. We weren't just providing spiritual guidance, we were serving as surrogate parents to a generation of warriors, instilling in them the values of faith, perseverance, and resilience. In the face of imminent danger and death, these soldiers found refuge in the arms of the Lord, surrendering their lives to his divine will. Through the threat of war, they discovered the eternal peace that only God could provide. finding solace in the knowledge that they were never alone, that he who watches over them neither slumbers nor sleeps. As I look back on those tumultuous years, I am humbled by the realization that God has strategically placed us amid adversity to be beacons of hope and agents of his love. For in the crucible of conflict, amidst the specter of death, his light shone brightest, illuminating the path to salvation and eternal life. They realized how death could come at any time, how they were put in harm's way just by being American soldiers. This book is to remind pastors that they don't place themselves. What? This book is to remind pastors that they don't place themselves. This book is to remind pastors that God knows where he needs you to be. God will let you go through hell for you to lead others to heaven. He would allow the evil. He will allow you to go through the sewers of life so that you can bring his children through, pull them out of the sewers of life, fight for them, and defend them. Now, I'm going to go back just for a moment to my job. When I was standing up, I said, God will rain fire down on the people that mess over his children. As my deacon began to explain, the place the place was on fire. I realized at that very second that my job was on fire. I realized the power of life and death is in the tongue. I realized that God has not left his children alone. God has not left his children to fend for themselves. But God himself is fighting right now, even though there are school shootings, even though there are people who are coming into the church and killing the church people. Sadly, they think that God told them to do it. This earth has turned, and the pastors need to know, even though they're going through being shot at and having to lock the church doors, that God has not turned his back on his church. He is equipping his people and pulling people from the gutter. He is pulling people from the trenches. He is pulling people from the trash. He is bringing them out and making them fathers and mothers, pastors, and all the people who don't know the way. He has allowed them to go through hell so that they can bring people to get to heaven. This book is to remind pastors that they are not their own, but they are bought and paid for with the blood of Jesus. We are bought. We are servants of the highest God. God places us in these positions, in these foreign countries, and in these trenches to be able to save others. Some of the pastors have lost families. Out of all that I have been through, I am no longer with my family. Some of us have lost our families in the trenches, but it's worth it. I'm going to read that again. Some of the pastors have lost families. Out of all that I have been through, I am no longer with my family. Some of us have lost our families in the trenches, but it's worth it. Some of us have lost time and lost money. Some of us would have already been millionaires, but we have lost things for Christ. But God is yet in control, and we still have to trust God no matter what position we find ourselves in. Right now, I'm in a position where I can only pray for my family. Who knows what my situation entails? The severity of what I've been through, death after death threats, death after death attempts have been done to my 5 children, and what has been done to my wife. Who knows the tiredness inside? Who knows that I've been enough? Oh, excuse me, hold on, y'all. Who knows that I've had enough of witnessing what she has gone through? This book is to save other pastors and to know that your walk is not easy, that you still have to go on. You still have to be a father. You still have to be an Abraham leading the flock. You still have to work at helping others while you yourself are wounded, while you and yourself feel like you have been stepped on and forgotten about. This book is to encourage pastors that there is a better day. There's a better day coming. I believe a better day is coming on earth and even in earth eternally. So pastors, let this book heal you no matter what you may be going through. Servants of the highest God, no matter what you are going through right now, be courageous. Go through it. There is a better day coming. There is a day that God will vindicate you and show that he was always with you. The end. We made it. Oh God, we made it through. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give me a round of applause. Shoot, okay. We made it, y'all. We made it through that. Woo. My God. All right, y'all. So it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I'm gonna just sit with it. Okay. Like I'm just gonna sit with it, and just process. Okay. But I'm still feeling I'm on my candy vibes right now. Okay. The lies, like that's who I am right now. This is just ooh, like it's just a lot of thoughts going through my mind right now. A lot of thoughts. But like I said, I just need to sit with it. Y'all sit with it, okay? Let me know, like, let me know what y'all are hearing, okay? Like, I'm hearing a whole lot of things. I feel like I need to go through and take notes, on things that I need. Y'all, this is some madness. This is some madness. I could tell that, there were different writers. Did y'all hear that? Like, did you hear like the difference in the different writing styles? Like, you can tell. Like, I think I can tell like what words were exactly my father's, and of course what words were other people's. What words were Chat GPT's, because I could tell there was a lot of that. Um, just being a writer myself, I can tell a bit of that, like that language, the repetition. That, oh my goodness, it's just so much. It's so much, y'all. I mean, that's not even just counting the lies that are all up and through, the attempts to make himself look like the hero. Also, it's like he wants you to look at him like the hero, but also have sympathy for him being the victim. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, how do you, like, how is he even trying to, like, navigating that, of appearing to be um the hero, basically, right? But also being a victim, like, I don't even know what other words to put it in. It's just like my brain is just trying to process everything that I just read, and then of course process the emotions behind it. Because I mean, like, I feel something just like just on a daughter level, just a core base level of, this being my father, who wrote this, and then of course whoever helped him write it. It just, I have so many questions, I have so many comments, I have so many thoughts right now, and it's just, I'm gonna need to take a nap to, like, you know what I'm saying, to, like, get my mind right to even analyze this, but it's a lot, y'all. So y'all let me know in the chat what y'all are thinking, okay? And then I'm gonna let y'all know when we'll be doing a live breakdown. But I'm gonna break up each of these videos into chapters. I'm gonna break down the chapters into individual videos, okay? So then it's going to be a little bit easier for us to dissect, okay? So we can go like chapter by chapter, then we can listen to the reading that I did of the chapter, and then dissect from there. We can do it that way. So y'all let me know. This is kind of like on a prelim what I'm thinking of, how we're gonna do the analysis on this. But this is it's a lot to process. It really is. So y'all keep me in your prayers, okay? Keep your girl in your prayers, okay? You know, when you're praying, when you're talking to God, y'all send one up. Just whisper my name, y'all. And I will talk to y'all later. I'm not sure I'm gonna come back today. I feel like I need to like really like sleep on this, like overnight, like actually do a real good sleep on this. I just yeah, keep me in your prayers, y'all. Okay, so I'll see y'all later to do the analysis. All right. I love y'all. Bye-bye for now.